So we decided, okay, let's see actually what has that capacity building grants that we were giving intuitively, what has been the impact of that. We have a lot of you here who have gone through the program, ready to graduate, and thanks to Dhwani Foundation for actually helping you build these capacities. So the Chandra Foundation, we manage the funds of Amit and Arjuna Chandra as well as AT Enterprises. We have 3 verticals that we focus on, 2 main ones and 1 emerging one. One, like I mentioned, was social sector capacity building. The second is sustainable rural development. Here we focus on regenerative agriculture, which a few of you talked about, and we focus on rejuvenation of water bodies. Both cases, what we do is we actually, while we start off with pilots, I think Vishal talked about that, we started off with small pilots, realized this works, course corrected where needed, and then templatized it, took it to government, and now we are supporting government in implementing these projects. So while we as philanthropists could do 100 water bodies, now we are doing 2,000 just because government is putting the money. So that leverage is important. And the third area we look at is urban planning, urban governance, citizen engagement in urban, which is a very small emerging area right now. So we decided, okay, let's see actually what has that capacity building grants that we were giving intuitively, what has been the impact of that, and found that mindset change of 80% of our NGOs is something we saw, and the areas we focus on is sector building. And how do you build a sector is by getting more money into the sector, and that includes both better giving practices but also more money, and talent and knowledge that can actually build the sector. There have been large grants made by people like McKinsey Scott, which again unrestricted, no questions asked, which has started conversations, like the Azim Premji Foundation does, corpus grants. It's starting conversations between donors saying, okay, why are we not being innovative and different like them? There are also now standard templates that are being created or toolkits that are being created, like Dhwani Foundation has. Sattva has got a free resource now online. Few of us work with Atma. They have an FOI program, which is again working with grassroots NGOs. And so that focus has been shifted. And I can tell you, I've been in the sector now for almost 15 years. These weren't happening 10 years ago. And so that gives us hope. We're also seeing more and more donors reaching out saying, can you work with this set of 10 NGOs who I work with and build their capacities? Right? So they're going to intermediaries to work with them. And of course, we have initiatives like Giving Pie, like AIP, which are again educating donors to think differently and think from the NGO's point of view rather from their metrics and their points of view. So I talked in the beginning about this needing to be a movement, and all of you have a role. So what can you do? One is ask for capacity building support. Don't assume that there's a 10% cap or a 5% cap, and when you create your budget, somehow figure that out. Ask. And we've said this to many of our NGOs who say, oh, but capacity building grant you give, no? We'll get our program funds elsewhere. And we say, no, we'll continue to give, but if you want a program to grow, your needs are going to grow as well. So make sure you've asked that. And show, right? So when it's happening, when you talk about it, say that Dhwani Foundation has helped us build these capacities, our organization, write about it, talk about it in events so that more NGOs can hear you, more donors can hear you, and advocate. So when it's not happening, call that out as well, right? You don't have to name and shame, but you can talk about how hard it is for you to raise funds. While there will be intermediaries like a Britspan or a Dasra who will reach out and do surveys about this, you need to be asking much more and talking much more about it. And we are here to support. I'm going to end with that and happy to take questions.